It's a weird question to ask, but it's almost unanimously agreed upon that the blind pests are just the most annoying, lame, ugly, friendless mob in the entire game. So between all my who the frick killed me and the what just happens and a little bit of where did that come from, I asked, why do you suck so much? It's strange that as an online community as a whole, we almost all agree that it stinks, but why is that? The blind pest stats are rather innocuous, boasting an 80 HP, 15 damage, and 6 MS, which I could not bother to look up, making it seem like a tiny shrimp. A small fry, if you would. A child to smash. But looking deeper, it's a sniping subclass that spawns in group of 5s, dealing the same damage as a greater wisp. And these high damage birds of prey can spawn in against you as early as level 1. All of this combined, the swarms can cause a bullet hell for any caught on the ground, and even a quick death for the unprepared. Which is the first thing I want to bring to the table as to why we hate it. It's one of the biggest run enders. I've seen many people complain about their runs being ended early after running into a swarm of these sightless creatures. But a lot of creatures end runs all the time, and you don't see people having quite the same vitriol for the Bell Balls, the Elder Lemons, or even the Clay Dunestrider. So I find it hard to believe that it's all just a bias from losing to them more than other creatures. So let's dig a little deeper. The Pests were released for the only DLC in the game, Survivors of the Void, which along with adding these buggers to it, it also added a host of different enemies to the game focusing on the Void. We got such gems as Mr. Krabs, Jumping Rodents, My Fucking Nightmares, Fat Clay Guys, the Illuminati, and our hated Lee Sin wannabes. Being added to the Siphon Forest, Amphibian Sanctuary, Rally Point Delta, and the Sulfur Pits. Bringing me to my next point. It was added when we were used to the game. People carry a sense of pride in what they do and what they like, and Risk of Rain players are no different. But it takes a little more time to build that sense of pride when you're getting into a new game, which is why we might have had a better time adjusting to the Elder Lemon, the Bells, and the Clay Dunestriders. We were just newer to the game at the time, and we just adjusted easier because we hadn't built our heart and sense of pride. Kind of like old people being stuck in their ways after their time is up kind of thing. Giving us a new enemy to learn and get used to after you've already gotten settled in might crush our pride a little to die to a tiny creature, giving us an intense rage at the sight of this little cretin. But that probably isn't it either. I rarely see similar levels of hatred for any other creatures added in the update except for maybe the Forbidden Calamari. So let's dig deeper one last time. It's no secret that a game wants to challenge us, so we keep playing. Players will get bored if there's no action, and just move on to a different game, which is obviously something you wouldn't want. But also, good developers will try to make them more interesting so they're not the same as any other basic enemies. Pyramids have bouncing bullets, rats have sped, and Void Squidward has the Blitzcrank hook, while the blind pests have faster projectile speed. With all the other enemies we've gotten used to, dodging all of their skills and their abilities, we can usually avoid most forms of damage. But the blind pests seem to stump even the best of players at every turn. So my last idea is their projectile speed is different and faster, making them more difficult to dodge compared to Wisps or Lemurians. And that can fit. But I'm not sure if that alone can inspire so much hatred. Unless, what if we combine every point into some super reason for hatred? If we do that, we will see its high damage and projectile speed added solely into the game, and into the earliest stages where people are most vulnerable to high damage, people will hate it. So that's it. The 100% indisputable answer for a completely subjective feeling about an AI in a video game.
You know, they also could just be plain overpowered as well. That's also a possibility.
A few last things before I go. A huge thanks to the Risk of Rain 2 subreddit for helping me gauge opinions on this, and some interesting facts about the Pokemon wannabe. Like, who else kind of sees the resemblance between, like, whatever the one with the tongue is and the Zubat? Kind of like, maybe if you got, like, some other furry Pokemon in there, you just combine them all together, boom. It's like a poison type. Okay, I'll stop. But that's about it. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe maybe. If you are cool. If you're not cool, then, you know, that's cool, whatever. Bitch. And if you didn't like it and you just thought it was trash, dislike, and, well, you're probably not subscribed if you didn't like it, but tell me why in the comments. Hope you have a great day.